So, welcome to today's session. What we have seen till now, starting from the stages, we have seen mobile communication, mobile computing, mobile application, evolution of technologies, right? So, what are all the ways that mobile communication has been enhanced, right? So, these are all the things that we have come across. Now, on today's session, what we are going to see, I can't restrict this topic, Mac. I think already you have an idea on Mac in computer networks. I'm going to enhance that. Okay. But I'll tell you, I can't restrict this topic only for today's session. We can talk about this topic across the semester because this could be the research area for companies, corporates, people are developing technologies. Um, I think in the assignments and the learning activity, I could able to find out an assignment by Sweta. I think so. What is 5G? She had explained in an ingenious way, completely. Likewise, list of protocols are there, and it is increasing increasing in fashion. Increasing in fashion. I could not able to restrict. When you are going to work with your normal Mac about your OSA architecture, you could able to restrict with your LLC also, right? On the corresponding data link layer, you could able to restrict, but here it's not like that. You could not able to restrict by doing a simple modification, and another protocol will come, right? So to overcome the delay, another protocol will come. So likewise, by doing some simple parameters, because it consists of more number of relative standards framed purely by mathematics. So on changing a variable, there could be a reflection in the real standard. This is the case, as well as you can expect problems from this topic. Right? Already we have seen some topics in an unorganized way. Now we are going to see everything under this organized section. Right? So that's the idea. Let us travel. Why we have to study about these protocols actually? So when I'm going to share a wireless channel, what is the role of these access protocols? Would be okay. So when on mobility, right, MANET, mobile ad hoc networks, in those cases, how the trade-offs will happen. Regarding applications, if I'm going to access a Google Pay app in a lift, how it will react in an escalator, how it will react. So mobile applications, how it will work really when we are moving, right? So what are all the standards have been developed? What are all the standards are ready to support for that, right? So what could be the real architecture that can be projected for this wireless environment? How the activities are being mapped for the wireless networks architecture. So that's what we are going to see. So the last point that you could be able to see, the wireless network systems are designed. They are nowadays available as hardware in our hands. Those standards are available as a hardware, right? So now I think in the lockdown, the most sold item in the e-commerce platform is nothing but wireless headsets for school children, college going chaps. People have purchased a lot, right? People who are going for nowadays traveling, people are ready to move with wireless based headsets. So we had reached as devices in our hands, right? So starting from a theory, it ended with a product. Okay. So what are all the things are that we are going to cover? Right? So you could choose your. Don't think that it could be like some electronics and communication engineering. It's not like that. It is the area where computer science can be applied like anything. Please remember that, because everyone will be running with the artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, You can employ those things also here, but this is the core area where you can touch upon and develop, and you can enhance the existing feature, right? It's a very good area of research, and to choose to work with the mini projects and projects. This topic very specifically, you can simulate using NS3, right? Note down NS3 simulator. NS3 simulator is open source simulator. You will have tutorials. You can create and simulate and see about this protocols very easily. Okay, so you no need to do much number of coding. If you know basic C and C++ or C or C++, you can do it in a very easier fashion, right? By writing some 6 to 7 lines of code, you can simulate an environment. That's all. So that much thing that you could be able to visualize and see the working nature of the protocols. That's the thing, right? I think this would remember your ISO OSI architecture, right? So the model to be remembered always. So from physical layer, how about my data link layers will ready to work with? Here the data link layers are going to be expanded, right? Till my wireless subnet controller, link controller, transceiver, frame controller. So these three components are mandatory when we are going to work with my Mac, when we are going to work with my data link layer. So the TCP/IP will take care of uh, the normal layer functionalities for my packet based environments. Okay, packet based routing, everything, and applications that nothing but that could be my app which are available over visible to the user, right? So virtual entries are from layer 2 transceiver frame controller to TCP/IP, but our area of concentration here is transceiver frame controller, link controller, wireless subnet controller. What are these functionalities are going to work with? In that, very specifically, that we are going to work with the link controller. There only our medium access controller going to come, right? So that is the area that we are going to work with, the protocol. So wireless link layer, you will be using the term data link layer, right? Instead of that here, wireless link layer. So this could be the entire area. So here the physical medium is going to be my open air, right? So in those cases, we will be using the term frequency always, right? So that's the term. Please remember. Once you work with the frequency, you will work with the data rate, etc., etc. Okay, so that could be the thing. So while it is going to transmit it in air, so I may lose the data. What I will do, I will enhance my signal, right? So people may encrypt it, people may decrypt my data. So for that, what I have to do? So I have to go for my frame mapping. I'll go for CRC for error control. So those things also being projected for that. So uh, what will the frequency will be available? How many users can communicate at a time? How many members can share a channel to transmit the data? So that cases will be done by medium access control. Okay, so whether the destination is right or not, how to identify? Whether the destination is available within my mobile range, how to identify? So wireless subnet controller will take care of those things. Right. So likewise, this could be the alignment of the system architecture for my wireless environment. So very specifically, the topic is medium access control, right? So I think in the last session we come across spread spectrum, right? So how that content can be fixed inside this? That's what we are going to see. We have a very limited resource. How to use it efficiently? That is the reason why the level that what we have come across, FDMA, PDMA, CDMA. After completing that we come for the frequency hopping spectrum, right? FHSSS. Next we come across DSSS. So all those things that we are going to revisit again, and we are going to map with the standard here. That's what. Okay. So we have to use the resource effectively. First point. Second thing, that what I have to do when multiple users are going to come, whether the resource can manage. First point. Second thing, whether the resource can be overloaded. What is the minimum resource can be utilized, right? So these are all point that I have to touch upon here. Okay, so when I'm going to share the wireless channel, do I have any mechanism, right? How to do that? For that we have some algorithms and protocols that we are going to see today. And the basic term, please understand: medium access, media access, multiple access. When I'm going to use the term medium access or media access or multiple access, all are same. But the thing is, whenever they are going to explain the schemes, that is going to be medium access. Whenever they are going to use the techniques, they will use media access. Whenever they are going to use the term protocols, they will use multiple access. That is the thing that could be given varied on different textbooks. Okay. First, schemes. What are all the schemes are available in some textbooks? They're given as um, categories, right? So here we are using the term schemes: random schemes, coordinated schemes, polling based schemes. Okay, so, so the term they are given as less coordinated. What does it mean? There won't be any central control unit for that to manage. That is what less coordinated. Please remember that. Less coordination is nothing but I don't have any central authority to manage my control. That's the thing. Next, random schemes are very suitable for data oriented or data transfer, very specific to data transfer. When I'm going to come for my voice based transfer, I have to come for my coordinated scheme, right? Coordinated scheme. When I'm going to work with my area where I have to use both voice and data, I have to come for polling based scheme. So random schemes are dedicated for data, coordinated schemes are dedicated for voice, polling schemes are dedicated for multimedia transfer. That's all. Voice plus data. That's what multimedia transfer. Right? But I will tell you the area of research in polling based scheme that wants low power. They are mentioned, but still now it is very tough. Just you use your Bluetooth to perform the data transfer. Immediately it will drink more amount of power from your battery, right? But if you have steady electric power over for the devices, then no issues. So battery usage on mobility, that could be a tough task when we are going to work with the Bluetooth standard. So that's the thing. So understand that random schemes, data, coordinated schemes, voice, and polling based schemes, multimedia transfer, right? So this could be the basic category that they are dividing the wireless media access control, right? Media access control. Please remember that. And they have given some list of standards and protocols. We will see in the forthcoming sessions. Basic things, right? Again, we have to know about this. You have come across in your computer networks also. But what is the basics to understand about the topics that what we are going to discuss today? So to refresh your basics, these things are mandatory, right? Duplexing, how the two parties are going to communicate, right? So whether one is listening and the other is receiving, or both of them are ready to listen and receive simultaneously. That is what simplex and duplex. So what could be the simplex mechanism? That they will be using the only same frequency. But when I'm coming for duplex mechanism, so what could be the methods they are achieving for communication, right? TDD, FDD, random access method, nothing but your CSMA, what you have learned in your computer networks, the same thing. Okay, so while I'm going to work with my duplexing, especially in the wireless environment, so what we have to stretch it upon, these two things are mandatory. One is my mobile unit, second is my base station. How they are communicating with each other. So what is the mechanism they will be employing? Time division duplex, frequency division duplex. These are all the mechanisms they are using for sharing the resource. Understand that? For sharing the resource. Okay, so before getting into this theoretical slides, you could see an animation that will be helpful for you to run around. So this is, I think this would be something interesting compared to that. Yes, screen is not visible. Please hold on. I think it got moved. At least you mentioned. Thank you. Is it visible now? So it is like the walkie-talkie that police sergeants will use with a separate dedicated frequency. Even controller mics that every police official who are on patrol will be using. Remember the two terminologies there they have used the term God band, here they are using the term God period. Right? In FDD they are using the term God band, in TDD they are showing God period. So this could be your performance measures or performance metrics for both the techniques. So regarding latency, TDD is taking more time because they are not sharing that frequency. They are using the same frequency for both uplink and downlink. But while you are coming for FDD, for uplink and downlink, there you are having dedicated frequency. That is the reason why latency will be more in my TDD. So pertaining to device cost, because frequency tuning and receiving, for that we have to invest separately, right? For two different transceivers are mandatory. That's what. I'll tell you a research point here. Here they have mentioned to difficult to achieve accurate time synchronization. So time synchronization is a research problem here. How can you solve this? People are working on this and people are ready to come with it because we have some advantages that already focused on TDD, right? So don't be combined on those things. So that could be the thing because we are suppose understand a situation where you have a limited resource. Which technique you will employ? Right? Where we have only limited resource. If we have plenty of resources, through that we could be able to utilize in a lavishing way. If I'm having very limited resource, in the limited resource, if I'm going to use, what is the technique that I could be able to adapt? Okay, in those cases, the negative or the limitations should not degrade the performance. In those cases, we have to start our research work, right? So, how can I efficiently improve the time synchronization in the time division duplexing? That could be the research statement. So, interested students work on this. That could be something a valid point here. So, these are all the standards they are mentioning regarding that. So, initially, um, CDMA is introduced by Reliance in our India. None of the service providers have talked about that. Okay, so that's the reason why Reliance have occupied the market. Till date, their what do you call? Their brand is being established only through the usage of CDMA. So that could be the orientation on the duplexing, right? So single channel is being utilized for both the transmission. But in FDD, that what we are going to use, you have separate bands to transmit the data. So that is the case, especially very technically if you want to convey forward band and reverse band. So forward band from base station to mobile station, reverse band from mobile to base, right? So that could be the frequency separation will be much more factor to be decided for the performance here. Okay. Regarding TDD, so there won't be any separate channel here. The same channel that we are going to arrange it in a proper way, right? So forward channel and reverse channel are being differentiated in terms of slot seconds. Okay, so with the time is slotted depending upon the density of the data or depending upon the time that what we have given to be transmitted within the particular second. So depending upon that, the variation of the data density can be manipulated. So that's what DTD will have the idea. So this is what we have seen in our animation also, the same thing. Especially FDD will work with individual radio frequencies effectively, right? So digital wireless systems will move forward soon. Short range communications are they won't experience much more delay over on that. Okay, but on FDD it won't be like that. There could be a dedicated environment is necessary for that. So GSM had explored from this term only actually FDD. Okay, remember that. Okay, GSM. So already we have seen this TDMA, FDMA, and the CDMA, right? We are ready to bring it over here. Till now, what we have seen, FDD and the TDD are applicable for when only one user is going to use the medium. When more than one user is going to come, what is the role of my medium access control, right? Multiple access. So media access convert from medium access now multiple access, right? So when more than one user is going to come perform data transfer at a time, in that case, how to do that? For that we have FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA, right? Already we have seen in our sessions, but anyway, we'll take it forward. Narrow systems and narrow band systems and wide band systems, right? So that could be the uh, case where we are going to differentiate in terms of bandwidth. That's all. So when the bandwidth is going to be restricted, that will be employed in our AMPS. When the bandwidth is going to move, that could be the case that where we'll be going for some digital enhancement, right? So especially bandwidth could be more. You will come across a term called hyperLAN. If you come across in computer networks, what is this hyperLAN actually? Uh, it could be the LAN which could be established between the corporate offices. You see TCS is have 13 branches in Chennai. All these 13 branches will be linked in the hyperLAN. Okay, so fast communication will be happening between their branches. Data transfer could be able to access as a system in remote, right? As well as when more number of users are going to access globally, that is also being possible when we are going to work with my wide band systems. So techniques can be followed with the corresponding systems, right? So the combination that why they have mentioned here along with multiple access, see more number of users plus medium access, that is what they have given FDD, right? So what could be the combinations that they have given? Please remember that these are useful for your multiple choice questions. Okay, so I could able to combine and use. When less number of users are there, in those cases, do not waste the resource. When more number of users are there, resource management technique is applicable here. So these are all cellular systems and MAC. that what we have come across. Okay. Now LTE is not given over there. Please remember, LTE is not given over there. What is the multiple access technique for the corresponding cellular standard, mobile standard that what we are following, starting from the normal telephone towards that being carried over from POTS, plain old telephone system, converted into a wireless standard. Right? That's what AMPS, GSM, USDC, PDC. I think CT2 cordless phone is something you have seen in telephone offices. I think who are visiting telephone offices nowadays? What will be visiting? People are having mobile phone. Direct cordless phone that you could be able to see it in railway stations. Actually, I think you could be able to observe this. Direct cordless phone will be available in station master that you could be able to see. So the US standard IS 95. So that's a next digital equipment corporation. That's what DEC. So next standard is US IS 95. That's the next standard. WCDMA is being it is in the float now, right? WCDMA. CDMA 2000 is a standard which is being replaced now with the OFDMA. Okay, optical frequency multiplexing. That OFDMA is being mingled with my WCDMA to go for mapping the frequency with the multiple number of uses. So frequency division, multiple access. You have an individual channel that could be assigned to individual users, but each user is allocated a frequency band. Okay, so base station will ready to allocate channel to the users. That could be the case here. Frequency division, multiple access. So already we have come across this FDMA and TDMA, right? So I think I don't want to spend time on it. So the formulas that would be more helpful for you, right? So please remember that here you have a problem also apart from that. So AMPS has 12 megahertz simplex spectrum band, 10 kilohertz guard band, 30 kilohertz channel bandwidth. So number of channels is going to be 416. So remember the problem that could be able to calculate for the value n. Okay, so n equal to bt minus twice of the corresponding guard band. Why they have mentioned the guard band as twice? Do you know? Guard band could be the delimiter for your data. Delimiter means that could be available between the, to avoid interference, it will be available for every data. So on both the sides you will have the data. You will have the guard band actually. For us in textbook, what they will do, the data part 1 guard band, data part 2, but actual visibility will not be like that. For the data part, the head end and the tail end will have the guard band. That is the reason why guard band will be given twice. Right? So bandwidth of the channel will be mentioned by BC. So remember this formula, how to calculate the capacity of a FDMA system. So how many number of channels can be allocated for the data transfer, can be allocated for the user. So that could be done through this formula, n equal to bt minus twice of guard bandwidth whole divided by BC, right? Bandwidth of the complete channel. So you have a formula also. Along with that, you have your formula problem. So try to do this. Time division, multiple access, right? Time slots will be created, but on the same frequency. So please remember. So here, what the problem will ready to come over there when more number of data is there, it will go for a buffer. It will buffer the data and it will send. So that is called a buffer and burst method will be employed in our TDM, right? Until its turn comes to transmit. That's the reason why. Till the time it will store the data in the buffer, right? So digital modulation is mandatory for this TDMA actually. So downstream and upstream that they are doing this on the same path, right? So TDMA frame is nothing but when I'm going to repeat more number of slots. That's what the term frame. So very specifically when I'm going to mix with my TDD or FDD. So what does it, the nature that it will ready to work with. So when I'm going to incorporate TDD, reverse channel can be allocated for that. When I'm going to incorporate FDD, separate frequency, carrier frequency will be allocated for the corresponding reverse or forward, anything, any one thing that you could be able to carry forward. That's the idea, right? So that could be the one TDM frame. You see, these are all the cases that the role of computer science will come into picture here, right? How a frame could be there for a TDMA. So you have preamble and trial bits will be there. You have the information. Information is divided into maximum number of slots that are permissible within the size of the information, right? Every slot will be divided like this: guard bits, synchronization bits, control bits, the corresponding slot data, and a CRC, cyclic redundancy check. So that's CRC code will be there, right? So one TDMA slots could be enhanced like this. So even from this you will get problems. Please remember, right? So TDMA frame. So this could be the formula to be remembered for how many number of channels. Here what I am going to do, I am going to multiply with variable m. Okay, so m into maximum number of TDMA users supported in radio channel. So that will be done by total bandwidth. Sorry, total. Before that, you could be able to calculate the efficiency also, right? So minus twice of guard bandwidth whole divided by complete channel bandwidth. So that's what they have mentioned as number of channels. The difference between the formula is here only the variable m. Okay, the formula you have is Bt minus twice of B guard whole divided by Bc, but here it is being incorporated with the m. Right? That is the way that you could be able to calculate for the TDMA cell. So please remember how to calculate the efficiency of the frame. For that you are having a formula, right? 1 minus BOH whole divided by BT, right? BOH represents the number of overhead bits. Don't worry about these formulas. They will supply you only the values for that, right? Remember the formula, substitute the corresponding terms, and you will get the answer. No need to work for furthermore. So overhead bits whole divided by number of bits that could be transmitted in the particular frame. So even for BT, they are given the orientation TF into R. Okay, R is the rate, TF is the time to transmit. So TDMA efficiency for the corresponding standards, cellular standards. So GSM and DEC have packed a lot, 30% overhead that they have felt. But US or IS standard 54 have received only 20% overhead. Right, so that could be the cases to be remembered. So TDMA can be combined with the FDMA, right? So for making any one of the channel, either forward or reverse channel, that you can adopt that technique. The contemporary TDMA systems that can be varied depending upon the following parameters. Parameters are nothing but the performance measure slots for all the standards. So GSM is from Europe, IS-54 from US, and PDC from Japan, DECT from European Standard. So these are all the things already measured, right? It could be the standard values that are applicable when I'm going to use those systems, right? These are all mandatory for your questions. So features of TDMA. Today we have measured a lot on this. An important thing is large overhead per slot. That is the major case. So capacity of TDMA systems, here it could be expressed in terms of system capacity as well as cell capacity, right? Cell nothing but the slot, system nothing but the number of slots. Okay, that is the idea. So system capacity, that they are ready to mention about how many number of clusters that we could be able to constitute, nothing but a cluster. So how much time that corresponding frequency is going to be reused. So that could be the case. So frequency reuse factor is, that's 1 by 7. So same frequency is used means on every 7 cells. So that's what they have mentioned. So the carrier signal strength of all combined signal strength from interfering base station is called a C bar I or S bar I ratio. Right? So the ratio calculation could be a problem again. Cluster size always affects the cell capacity. When more number of the cells are going to accommodate, ultimately it will take time for to transmit. So how they are comparing the GSM and the AMPS parameters when they are going to move it, right? This is the standard values they have given for parameters, but while we are going to calculate the system capacity, so please remember that this could be a factor how it is going to influence the other standard comparing GSM with the AMPS, right? Anyway, we have a variation for 2.8, whether it is in the positive direction or negative direction. That could be the case. And also please remember that frequency reuse factor is could be more compared to that. So system capacity is directly proportional to, sorry, indirectly proportional to channel bandwidth required per user, because you cannot able to use. I will be watching a YouTube video, but you will be using only for WhatsApp. It will differ. Cluster size will vary when I'm going for mobile handoff. Mobile handoff means when I'm moving from one place to other place, and ultimately it will, right. So by that I will stop here. If you have any clarifications or things to post, you can post in the chat. Still we have something to discuss on this, so post your attendance in the chat. Type your complete roll number, that will be counted. Join with me for external learning activity by 2:10. You have an interesting activity today. So equip yourself with the devices and other standards, that will be more useful.